Hello everyone and welcome back to the playthrough of Tarred and Feathered, the 6th map of the Forged in Fire campaign. It's the part 2 of total 3 parts of this playthrough, and we'll continue where we left off. Just in the very end of previous part 1, Henrietta captured 4th fortress town. And now my goal is to pass her army to Wynona. That is all the way from the underground far south to the surface and to the far north where Wynona is. And obviously I will not be using poor hero's legs for this. There are a couple of teleports I can use to speed this up. And another example of splitting enemy units into halves, or not halves, into groups. Generally you want to have them not necessarily same size, and that's a very interesting behavior of AI. Normally AI often tries to avoid getting its units exposed, and sometimes it leads to some weird turns like this. There are actually even fights specifically constructed using this mechanic on some maps, on some harder maps, I should say. I don't think this fight was, but mechanics is still there, so it can happen sometimes. And that's why I parked 2 of those heroes next to sorceresses. I intended to bring them here, or at least one of them here, to Henrietta. Also, something of an interesting observation, I would say. Even though Henrietta does have pathfinding, I still sometimes prefer to give her the green boots, at least when she has the army. And I think it makes sense, because, well, normally my secondary hero who doesn't have an army would use some swamp creature, like a serpent fly, for example, and most of the terrain here is swamps, so it would be enough to cover most logistical needs. But sometimes I have to give this hero an army, and in this case this hero will be slow. And ultimately it becomes fairly obvious that the deciding factor should be who has the army, right? Not like specific hero. And that's why I try to have an extra pair of boots with the army. So if I were to give the army to Wynona, who already has a pair of boots, I would give her a second pair of boots, and there we go, basically. So that's kind of a pretty cool thing, I feel like. So whenever Wynona or Henrietta has to give army to a secondary hero, they can actually give this hero a pair of boots, and it helps a lot with logistics. So Genova is gonna take a couple of fights here. I did not want to bring in, Henrietta to this part for the hive and for the Gorgon dwelling, and I brought automatons here just as a cannon fodder, something that I'm fine losing. At this point, my factory units are already losing their role, so their number still the same. I mean, as I said, there is no way to reinforce them, and numbers of my fortress creatures is growing, and obviously it leaves factory units largely less and less useful, so I thought it was a good opportunity to trade automatons for this small adventure with Genoa. So I will be chaining units into this portal, and my hero who will be the one trying to reach Wynona is Catbird. I just quickly checked if I can pick up the gold on my way, but I can't. At this point I really shouldn't be building anything, and I think I will. Yeah, so very soon I will need quite a lot of wood, and I will have to trade for it, unfortunately. Maybe it's fine. I got a bit lucky here, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. But blue hero that got on a boat sailed in a different direction first, and there is a dead end, so comes back, but it gave Elashar a little bit extra time to get away. It's not a huge deal though. If I lost him, that would be... I mean, I would lose one robot. That's not great, but it's not that much of a problem, really. Okay, I did mess up there. Thought that we'll be able to pass the army. But that's fine, as you can see, Rion reaches Henrietta. good enough. For some time I won't have much to do for Henrietta. She won't even have access to the army, so she will do some relatively minor things. For example, I skipped Hive in the beginning, and a couple of things like a lizard man dwelling, something like that. So I will send Henrietta there, and Wynona will need to take this town, and first she'll have to go through this Garrison. In this part I didn't really calculate properly how far Cuthbert would reach, so I could play this part a little bit better. We'll end up wasting just a bit of my time there. Also a good opportunity to pick up sharpshooter's bow component. There is a quest in the end game where you can hand in three set items. I mean, like combined items. One of which is a sharpshooter's bow. Then there is also a magi as well, and an elixir of life. So, and if you do that, you can get +4 defense for both of your main heroes, which is pretty nice. And so, to save yourself a little bit of time, it's a good idea to pick up those items when you have an opportunity. Okay, Elashar is on the run. Enemy doesn't look particularly scary, but Elashar also doesn't have army, so he doesn't really have a choice but to be scared. Okay, so I made a mistake there, or like I didn't really find a good way to do that. I didn't leave any dragonflies in 4th town where Gorgons are, so well, I end up either having to take Gorgons and potentially dismiss them when I don't need this hero, or basically suffer the penalty. Neither is a good option, frankly. Okay, I actually should have kept the Charm of Mana there, no? I think my morale should be more than fine. Yeah, I have only 2 factions, so I don't even need morale items with the Spirit of Oppression. Maybe, I mean, having one is good. It gives a bit of a leeway in terms of morale. For example, when you fight bone dragons, you don't run into a negative. But that's about it. Okay, so my army looks pretty good now, right? 16 Coatls and 44 Wyverns. That'll be my add the 12 dreadnoughts to that, and that will be my main army for some time. For a couple of weeks, and it will do a lot of fighting. First we'll need to win a couple of fights. This one is not particularly difficult. But taking the town would take a little bit in terms of effort. It's guarded by a couple of big stacks of hydras. Setting up dreadnoughts for some epic hit beam. Shouldn't really hit Gorgons before that. They could kill with the retaliation. Okay, Wynona already level 22, so that's almost level limit on this map. Okay, so here I for a moment contemplated if I should take a detour to the left side, and I mean it's obviously a very stupid idea. I was thinking about it mostly because my initial plan, I had a perception that Wynona will have so much time before she gets reinforcements that she will have to go through this garrison without reinforcements, and she will have enough time to clear the left side, basically. But, well, ended up not having enough time, even actually had to rush her a little bit. Skipped a couple of resource piles there, although I didn't really have to do that. It was just somewhat a panic move on my part. Okay, that's an easier part, obviously. The town itself is much better guarded. And Wynona will have enough movement points to actually get on a ship after she takes the town, so that's kind of important. Okay, so this one is much worse, obviously. Like a total number of each Hydra type is not much different from the previous fight, but the problem is they're all in basically in one stack, right? So there is no way for me to crush them like in 5 and 6 stacks, right? And obviously if I attack any of them with my, let's say, Coatl, that would be a very painful experience. And also I have very little mana, as you can see, only 21 spell points left. So I really have to be very careful here. Ideally, you would want to prevent enemy units from splitting like they did in my case here. So, as I said before, when you fight, like, let's recall some fights. If you remember some fights from the first part, for example, when I put 2 serpent flies on different sides of the battlefield, kind of effectively dragging apart enemy units. It works well against units that you can kill fast, like in a single hit, by your power stack at least, right? So this way you kind of separate them and then kill one by one, basically. And with big ones, you actually cannot do that, and you really want to keep them together just to give yourself a bit more space on the battlefield. For example, let's imagine that I kept basilisks here alive, and I'll just visually put them all 4 stacks somewhere like equally spaced out along the middle of this battlefield horizontally. So we put upgraded hiders slightly towards the top one tile, and then basilisks on the left side. And we remove this obstacle to make things even worse. And this way, these 3 very slow units cover basically entire battlefield. So that's why you want to keep them kind of very tightly together. So I did end up using Quicksense, and boy did they deliver. Just look at those 2 beautiful Quicksense on the right side. It cost me 6 mana, I think, but that's very, very good return for this 6 mana. Okay, I need to get them together somehow, otherwise I'm risking to just be destroyed. At this point, ideally you want to figure out which unit is the most desirable for the AI. In this case, I'm not sure. Like, Hydras are in particular very easily tempted by multi-hits. So, for example, if I moved Coatls next to Dreadnoughts, that could have prompted both Hydras to go back to the Dreadnoughts, Wyverns, and Coatls. That would be like the juiciest hit AI could see. But also, I mean, that would probably work if I'm being completely honest. I actually forgot about this feature of AI, but okay. Also add to the injury that I have to recast slow. I only have mana for another slow, so it's basically I only have 14 turns to win this fight. That's a really tough situation. So I guess I will run in one of them. But maybe I should have actually attacked the other one. To be honest, I thought that I am killing the Chaos Hydras here. And I think I might not be killing them. Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe Dreadnought can like laser thing and tank some damage. Oh my goodness, almost lost it already. Probably should be killing them now though, thanks to the... Okay, I actually am losing my last slow opportunity. Maybe that's the right decision, but now my time basically is very limited to deal with these Hydras. Although maybe it's not that limited. I mean, their normal speed is 6 and their speed now is 4, so maybe I actually plan to kite them. Yeah, that actually might work. So I think I might be willing to split my shooters finally. That would make sense. If you split shooters, it means that no matter where the Hydras go, you will have at least one of them be able to shoot. Well, not in this case, obviously. You want them to be further apart. But now you can see how it works. And yeah, that actually makes sense. Now Hydras see the big hit into Wyverns and Coatls and they go for it. Now if I split them, they might actually go completely different. Now probably maybe a multi-hit again against Halflings, and Wyverns was the winner. It would be interesting actually to know which individual stack is deemed more valuable by AI here. Okay, they stopped because of the Wyvern threat. That's a very good moment for me. Now these two quicksands are excellent, so it would be a shame not to use them. I will try to trick AI actually here. Wyverns blocked the path past quicksands, and I threw Coatls as a bait on the other side, so I actually want to keep Hydras on the opposite side of those two quicksands, and that actually might work. So actually, I'm not sure. I'm okay. So it didn't. Yeah, maybe if I actually calculated the distance, I may have tucked my shooters away and robots. And it would actually make this pattern of kiting hydras on the top side with a single stack. Actually viable. Oh my goodness, that's kind of annoying. I guess I might be winning already, so it's fine. Yeah. Alright, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Actually, it was not the most difficult fight of this part. It was pretty tough, but I wouldn't say it was difficult. It just required some a little bit of precision. I'd say that a fight against a null hero in the first part was quite a bit more difficult in comparison. And then there are a couple of more fights that were actually quite a bit more difficult as well. And we are heading straight to those two fights. That will be quite a lot of fun. Okay, time to teleport Henrietta. Good old tavern teleport. Okay, I'm a bit contemplating here, so ideally I would want to move out with Henrietta on day 1. So finally hired Kier and gave her a null for speed. No, that's not for speed, but for better pathfinding. Okay, I guess I'm checking how far Damacon can reach. And I think I calculated also with speed 6, so he was reaching a bit shorter than I moved Henrietta. But I figured that he will have a speed 6 creature, and so he will have 100 and, wow, just, yeah, I forgot actually. 1700? Yeah, 1700 movement points. And I of course forgot that he'll have to take a step to grab lizards from Kier. Basically want to hire everything. Nulls are pretty good for basically being meat, so they will do just fine. Okay, unfortunately I messed up. There we go. And not the first time I did mess up. Maybe I actually even leave a couple of dragonflies for Kier as well. Henrietta has to skip the two shooters there. They're just not worth the trouble. Oh, we are actually in month 2 already. That's a good news. We survived for 1 month. Well, actually, it's not difficult to survive for 1 month, obviously. Enemies did not take interest in us so far, so we'll do just fine. And I need to hire a hero here as well. And also I need to make a boat for this hero. So I will have to trade for more wood. And unfortunately, Cuthbert cannot afford going for the warehouse because he needs to pass the army. So that's very, very sad actually. Another trade is looming, and this trade will leave me without ore basically. Almost, I mean, with 25 ore. Yeah. That's a very, very painful decision to make. So I'm basically trying to kind of, yeah, and I see just Cuthbert does not, no way he can pick up the wood, and yeah, very, very sad. If I did not build marketplaces, I mean, maybe I didn't. Maybe I had enough wood for everything. That would be best, because obviously if I still had to trade for wood, that I would have much worse trade rates, and that would also not be great. Wynona doesn't have mana, but there are a couple of mana bottles on water. Maybe it would be a good idea to give like 1 dragonfly to Wynona, or maybe 2. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure why. There is a dragonfly fight ahead, so maybe it would make sense to have a dragonfly, but then again I don't have mana, so fortunately they retreat. But I mean, fortunately is a bit of a too loud a statement. Obviously I could bring like a couple of serpent flies as a mid shield, and I would be perfectly fine. And Elishar keeps running away, the blue hero. Oh, very, very dangerous, has all 3 war machines. So, just so you understand, it's my first playthrough. I barely know the map. I mean, I'm checking the map. We're kind of map editor, so I have a vague idea what I should be doing, but I don't know some specifics, like, for example, I don't know which units I should be taking at this point. Will I need halflings, for example, or serpent flies or dragonflies, whatever. So Uland is there, and I would still need him if I knew what I need, but so he's carrying this whole baggage behind Wynona, just in case she needs like any of that, right? And if I knew what she needs, he would be carrying only things that she would need, obviously. So that would be the only difference, basically, but occasionally it would be different enough. Some scrappy fights with Henrietta. Leadership is paying off. That's all right. Yeah, I think Knowles would most likely be the target here. Best if you have one null or one something next to your shooters, like a big shooter stack here should not be under threat. That's a small hive. I might be a little bit more concerned if it was 4 size, but like 96 lizards. And also a hero is pretty strong. So I would think that lizards were probably safe here from the very beginning. I mean, like, regardless of the hive size, whatever. I would definitely need something for dragonflies to focus their attacks on. And gnolls are basically the best for this. I mean, best, I'm not sure about the best, but they're the best in my army composition. Ooh, that's painful. Almost lost a wyvern, that's not great. Stop doing this. How do you like this morale? And that's an easy kite here. So in this situation, 9 dragonflies is a big enough kite for the AI to find them valuable enough, and everything else is not. I mean, wyverns are too strong for them, so they don't really want to attack them. And well, once of gnolls obviously is not a valuable target as well, and as you probably know, AI doesn't see the units behind ones, so I'm not sure why do I keep putting my wyverns forward, because I mean, okay, I actually did use them. I thought that I would end up shooting them all with lizards. Okay, now we need to fight these fellas, and we don't have forgetfulness on Henrietta. Okay, we'll use some dragonflies to block, but that makes sense. So I may end up slowing them so that I could kill one of them with my own lizards. That's one, and maybe block one of them with dragonflies. Okay, I will be blocking 2 of them. And 1 with wyverns. Okay, that's... I mean... I think it was actually a bad decision. Second lizard could have killed a dragonfly that was blocking the 3rd shooter. So... actually should have done what I thought now. So I should have slowed them and block first 2, or like, yeah, first 2, and kill 3rd with my lizards. And obviously when you block them, you want to block 2nd with 2 dragonflies and 1st with 1, but I could use wyverns as well as part of a block on one of them, so that would be well, safer. I would not rely on a specific way AI would act there. Okay, Elashar is almost home, finally. His robot got rusty on the seas. Very high humidity, you know. Now this blue hero actually sails further away from Wynona, which honestly I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Wynona would be able to obviously kill this hero without too much trouble. The problem is that she would have to spend some mana on this fight, and well, she will need She will need it, okay? Not much mana to throw away. For the fight against Genius, I actually might have used some of the shooters, and unfortunately I already sailed forward with Wynona. Wynota. Okay, so we'll have to deal with them without reinforcements. But dealing with them is basically just as usual. Looking at how they buff each other every turn, that's basically their... Oh, okay. That's interesting. Ooh, man. Okay. Good thing you waited already. And yeah, okay. No, that's funny. I mean, genies could be absolutely annoying to deal with, but sometimes they're just too much fun, you know. I mean, I should be killing them. I think I very clearly overspent mana here. Very clearly. Oh my goodness. He didn't embark on a boat. This fella is an interesting case. I'll put it this way. So this is a place where you can actually buy some units. Like you see them, halflings and acids on the top right. And well, you can wind back when I played Elashire. And there are also lizard warriors and quattles, which are, in my opinion, way more valuable than the other two, and I do intend to hire them. There is a the Seer quest hut in the middle of this island where Elashire disembarked. It's very close to it, and you can buy basically tickets to these units. A very nice position in the top left corner, as you can see. Just only 2 spots for Dread Knights to engage me. Maybe casting blast would make sense. and haste to make sure that this 4 never hits wyverns. And that's probably gonna be another case of kiting once again. Well, one of the Dread Knights will hit one null there, but others will stay away from wyverns, for example, because they think that wyverns are too strong, and one null is just has no value basically, but 7 dragonflies are kind of something in between. So that's why they stick to dragonflies. If stacks were like 100 Dread Knights, they would prefer to go for wyverns, because 9 wyverns would at this point would not be dangerous enough, but it would be more valuable than 7 dragonflies. Kind of that's the basic idea of kiting. Basic idea of kiting when you have more than one unit, right? So like idea of how AI prioritizes targets. Okay, preparing for the first big fight here. I will be attacking the blue player, blue town, and this fella, this Bron Kenatoth, is actually gonna be, I think it's my favorite fight from this part. And this fight is also quite a problem, right? As you remember, I had trouble with a town that had much smaller garrison than this garrison is, and well, and back then I also had shooters in my army, but I mean, I don't know, I think it might be easier without shooters actually, simply because it's maybe too many units here to deal with. And also wyverns are, I mean, I will kill wyverns first, that's obvious, but as you can see, I can't kill them in one go, for example. So I'll have to take a hit here. And basically my idea, obviously, is to kite them, then try to split them, then remove a retaliation with one serpent fly, and then swarm the unit and repeat with each unit basically. It requires some clever fighting, I don't know, clever kiting, I mean. So since I already attacked them once and then I had to wait with all three my power stacks to do that, I need to be able to have a breather to make another attack. So I need to move my big stacks away so that they are not attacked by these three baddies and they can wait again. And after I waited with all of my units, I can attack again. Okay? So that's the idea. Now here I messed up, I put dreadnoughts and wyverns next to each other, that's why hydras were all too happy to come towards my big units. Now this is a neutral garrison, that's why despite all the scary sizes of those units, they actually would all prefer attacking serpent flies. Well, I'm not sure about hydras to be honest, but hydras are not too difficult to control. For example, I could now that both wyverns and dreadnoughts already waited, I could put them next to each other, kind of inviting hydras for multi-attack, and move Quattles further away so that hydras would be basically going towards dreadnoughts and wyverns, but well, I didn't do it here, but still managed to gain distance with Quattles, and Quattles is the last stack I needed to wait. I also used Disrupting Ray on hydras, and I will use it again because, well, these are big stacks. And I only have 3 retaliations to remove, so there are very apparent limits to my abilities here. So I guess it should be a time when I hit one of them. I think I should be reducing defense of Gorgons, maybe like at least a couple times, because they have very high number of hit points, and their total number is equal to wyverns, if you remember. I mean, their total number is actually 50% higher. What I meant to say is that their hit points are equal to wyverns, but their number is like 50% higher, and obviously with wyverns, if you remember, I had 6 left, I think, after a full-on attack I had made on them. And well, like 50 Gorgons, if 50 Gorgons are left, that's not a great sign for me. Especially considering that these 50 Gorgons are things that I cannot remove a retaliation of, so that would be a very, very bad experience for me. So I should be removing retaliations of Gorgons. I mean, should be using Disrupting Ray on them. Okay, so I also need to kill hydras. Reducing their defense also makes sense, but kind of Gorgons are my bigger concern. And well, 19 Hydras left. That's not pleasant. Sounds like I may have to be using my beam here. Well, not this moment, obviously. It would be very ill-advised. Okay, they all chose to go for Wyverns. Interesting. So I have two problems on my hands now. I have a bunch of Gorgons that I have to deal with. I have a relatively big stack of Hydras to deal with, and I have only one retaliation that I can remove. So what do I think here? I'm not sure. Like, I want to... Like, at this point, I don't remember what I was thinking, but at this point I think I need to remove probably, like 2 more disrupting rays to use 2 more disrupting rays on Gorgons just to maximize damage on them. But I'm also like 20 spell points left only at this point. And I need to be setting up Hydras for a hit beam attack, basically. So if I hit them twice in a row, maybe Dreadnoughts can survive a hit from Hydras. Okay, I'm doing it actually, I think. Yeah, I'm setting Wyverns to bait Hydras into range. Or maybe I don't actually. I don't think it works. Yeah, I don't think it works, but I think I'm at least trying. Hydras should be out of range at this point, I think. Okay, actually. Okay, that was a bit surprising. Maybe they chose a different tile. I thought they angle at going to hit between well, to the place between all 3 of my units. Okay, that was a bit confusing, but a good news nonetheless. Okay, now at least maybe we'll use a last disrupting ray. I'm not doing it, okay. Okay, I would use it right now. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit... Okay, at least they did not get hit before that. Didn't have to risk anything, but I mean, 1 more disrupting ray would be a bit safer. Still, I mean, that was a pretty tough fight. And that's just beginning. This Brown hero is a nightmare. Let me introduce you to him, by the way. So this Brown hero is Bron. He's a Basilisk specialist. And he has 5 large Basilisk stacks. Like 3 upgraded ones, each about 100 in size. And 2 unupgraded, which maybe 120 or so. So his stats are more or less on par with Wynona, so these basilisks are actually pretty strong, okay? And also that's Bron, and they also have +1 speed. So upgraded basilisks have 9 speed. Now if this thing did not scare you just yet, consider this. He's a hero and he has a spell book, and in this spell book he has spells such as Dispel and Cure, and he is very very happy to cast them on basilisks that you slow. So, well, he's a very very annoying fella, let me tell you. And while we're approaching this fight, well, you will have a bit of a time to think and figure out how we can deal with them. I will give you a hint. I will be using second hero for this. And another important thing, the town that I will take, that is next to this Bron, doesn't have a tavern, so I can't use multiple heroes to drain his mana, for example. This fella is dangerously close to my first town. Kinda could come at the very inopportune moment, you could say. So this town is unguarded. It's the town where this fella that is next to my town is currently sailing. He was stationed here. In this town there are no dwellings, so we won't have any defense. That's good news. I mean, at least gives me some break, I guess, on the map. So that's good to know. Yeah, this mystical garden is actually a pretty good thing to visit, considering that gems are quite in a very high demand. Another blue hero. I mean, these armies are not scary. I mean, if Wynona was in place to deal with them, that would probably be very easy. Alright, it's time to deal with this fella finally. So my first goal is to drain his mana. And as I said, I cannot use Hitran, there is no tavern, I have to use two of my heroes to do that, and well, obviously Wynona will be fighting, so Uland will have to drain the mana himself. And I give him the Spirit of Oppression to do that. It will ensure that there will be no morale in this fight. Challenge is basically the enemy has 50 mana, and I need to extract 12 casts from him somehow. And his basilisks have speed 9, and my dragonflies have speed 14. That's borderline minimum difference between two units, the difference of 5 speed that is required to be theoretically able to kite them. So basically that's a setup I found when I was recording the playthrough. When I was testing it, I found a more beautiful setup, but the one where like no basilisk could ever be reaching. The dragonfly here, actually some basilisks do reach, but the first basilisk to take a turn actually blocks a dragonfly for others, so it works out well in the end. And so that's basically the idea. So, and you may wonder, why did I bring 28 dragonflies here? The answer is very simple. I need to create a threat from my dragonflies to have Bron cast a stone skin or a shield, and 28 dragonflies can kill a basilisk, and that's what they did here. And you may wonder, why did I not surrender and save 28 dragonflies? And the answer is very simple. Bron had a Spirit of Oppression in his inventory, and I want this fight to be with Spirit of Oppression. Obviously, if Bron hits morale in fight against Wynona, that's also lights out for me. So I couldn't retreat. If I retreat, Spirit of Oppression would be in the tavern with Uland, and if I let him die, then Spirit of Oppression is in Bron's possession, and he neutralizes the morale, actually. So, one thing I didn't mention, which is also an additional self-inflicted complication, I did not spend a turn to restore mana. As you can see, I only had 50 spell points in the beginning of this fight. As you can imagine, it's not a great position to be in, to say the least. First thing I want to... well, I can hit one of them, so ideally I don't want to split them, to join them all together, but also I wasn't able to kind of split off one stack. So I'll have to figure out something. Like, basically it's gonna be in many ways a similar fight to the Garrison I was fighting on the way to this town. The difference is that this one is a bit more difficult. At least one good thing about this fight is that I don't have to use Disrupting Ray to kill his stacks, so I can kill any stack in 4 hits. So removing one retaliation and landing 4 hits is enough. Okay, first I want to stabilize situation. I'll guide them back and forth, right and left, just to get an idea what they're interested in. Basically what I expect from them, because it's a hero, I expect big stacks to be very happy to attack my big stacks, but a 16 basilisk stack actually would be surprised if it prefers going after big ones over following a serpent fly. So that's one of my options. I could theoretically use a serpent fly to lure a wounded basilisk stack. Another option is I can leave a big stack, like a Juggernaut for example, under hit, like here. I also cast shield for that. Also, it gives me an opportunity to kind of group up with them a little bit, and obviously it helps me to do many things, to kill one of the basilisks and also wait with my units, right? So I was able to actually initiate attack on another basilisk, but the split is a bit dangerous now. I really am not happy to see the top basilisk stack go this far. So I think I should be moving my big stacks along the top edge of the battlefield after I hit this one. That is, I want to make sure that enemy basilisks are all still together. And also this one serpent fly is actually very important, I think. I might be wrong. Obviously it may not help, but the idea is that I want to cut the way to the top right corner from the right side. So basically I want the smaller basilisks, the unupgraded ones, to actually go around from the left side. And it doesn't work, unfortunately. Okay. That's a betrayal. Okay, so still I have to go to the left side now. I am surprised actually that they all went towards serpent flies there. So now I would first try to group them up a little bit. I'm really not happy to see the one of the stacks this far away from others, and I can set up dreadnoughts for another hit, but they're also very low at this point. Okay, so now I need to know which one of my stacks they prefer. So I would put them to different corners now. One of them to the top corner maybe, or two, and one to the bottom corner, and see how they where do they go. It's actually even better if I don't put like into the very corner, but kind of keep them close. Like, yeah, that's what I thought. This way, even if big basilisk actually ends up kind of blocking the pathway a little bit, it's likely that unupgraded ones still would be able to reach from the left side. And I'm surprised they actually went for serpent flies. Okay, so now at least I can use this opportunity to wait with dreadnoughts. That's already a success. And well, I need to find a way to wait with others, and I have to use haste, I guess, or maybe I should move. Okay, I split wyverns and quattles there. That's sensible. Occasionally I will be using serpent flies to guard my valuable stack. So I think I'll put wyverns to the top right corner now. Kind of ultimate test. And they all prefer to go after quattles. So I can wait now with wyverns. And after that, I will be looking for opportunities to wait with quattles. Also, quattles can use ability to get some space. So let's say I use ability next turn, basilisks will go somewhere, and let's say they go as far as they can. It's quite likely that quattles will be able to wait next turn, simply because basilisks are now far enough. Okay, so I set up serpent flies there, like this in the corner. So I want to hide quattles from basilisks, basically. And now they went towards wyverns, and now I have all three big hitters having arrested and ready to attack. So I will be removing next retaliation very shortly. So in general, I am trying to keep my units together when I don't need to rest, so that enemy units also were kind of together, did not have incentive to split. And when I do have to rest, I have to split my units, but I also have to be careful about spacing, you know. Okay, that's a pretty good. Also keep in mind that I only have 13 mana left, but as number of basilisks becomes smaller and smaller, it obviously makes execution much easier. So I think I might actually even go for another big stack before I finish the big basilisk, I mean the upgraded stack. And now I don't have any more serpent flies. It means that I have to deal with one last stack somehow. And well, there is actually a way to do that. And I'll be using my only no retaliation attack here. And you probably already guessed what is this attack, and that's a Dreadnought hit beam. So there is actually a very easy setup in this position, and I'll set it up. You will put wyverns as a bait. Just need to calculate. So basically I need basilisks to reach wyverns in exactly 2 turns, and they should be barely reaching them. This way they're moving just close enough, and now I can hit beam them, and now I will pull back the Dreadnought, and I put my wyverns and quattles as a bait so that I would that would give my Dreadnoughts an opportunity to wait. And once again, let's try setting it up. Looks like there is another option. So I would want one of my units to hug an obstacle from the top side, like here. And there we go. Now repeat that. And not a very difficult trick. I have 5 more turns before slow expires, and I might be unable to do that afterwards. So at this point I will mess up, so I won't be able to land any more hit beams. Now what I should have done here, well, I'm not sure. I don't have haste, so ideally I would want to reposition to the left side somehow. So the problem is I couldn't lure basilisks by putting quattles, for example, like hugging the obstacle from the right side, because they were able to reach quattles from 2 sides, and they actually chose a side that I didn't cover, so a bit of a problem. And now I think my time is ticking. There are only 2 turns left, so I'm leaning towards actually risking and hitting them, and that's what I will be doing. Should be okay. Maybe I should have blast there. Okay. Anyway, their retaliation killed one quattle, unfortunately. A very painful loss, but that's a big victory. Now we got this Pandora box, and this Pandora box contained 2 town portal scrolls a huge reward. And now this blue hero is actually no longer that big a threat. So unfortunately Wynona doesn't have mana, though she will have to spend a night in town. So now with town portals, you can imagine I can do lots of things. So I can, well, let me think. So obviously I can kill this hero now. That's one good thing. I can get the reinforcements. That's one other big pressing issue. And also I can now expand in like many more directions. Namely, for example, there is a hero in the underground. That's gonna be my next objective. That's a hero that will give me access to resurrection. And Elashar does some plundering with units he hired. 7 more quattles actually. As you can see, nice reinforcement. Yeah, I checked actually. I could block the landing for him if I hired another hero. And for example, if I didn't come in time, I could have done it. Don't have to dig anything to do that. But at this point, I actually want him to land there. So I set up Kier to be sort of a decoy, a bait for him. Now, hopefully he disembarks there. He could theoretically disembark on the other side of the what do you call it, of this water body, whatever. And that would make him a little bit harder to reach. So I really want him to come to my town. I mean, yeah, I don't want him to disembark next to a hive, for example. And Henrietta is getting ready to do some good stuff. Nail-biting fights, courtesy of Elashar. So at this point I will retire most of factory units. Basically, maybe there is a point in carrying engineers to be able to repair dreadnoughts occasionally. That could be a decent reason to get them back, but I don't know. I decided it's not worth the trouble. Engineers are just like many low-level creatures are too often focused by enemy, so it's rather more of a nuisance than anything. And now look at this. This army is actually, I mean, I wish I had more Quattles, but I mean, Wyvern upgrade is pretty good. 64 upgraded Wyverns, that's very nice. Temporarily will be my big stack probably. I would not be surprised if they actually hit harder than Quattles at this point. And also I have Lizard Warriors finally, shooting stack. Not bad. Basically, as you can see, his army is not really in contention with mine, and stats-wise he's really not a problem. So, as usual, trying hard and pushing for a tempo often pays off. Sometimes you have to bend over backwards to make it happen, but other times you get to enjoy benefits. Okay, so I guess, yeah, it looks like I'm preparing an army for Henrietta. So that's the next enemy. The enemy is, I think, named Dagdaro, something like that. That's basically Alamar, a very high level Alamar, and he basically can resurrect any of his stacks in a single cast, and he has a lot of spell points. So basically, other than just to kill him in one go, which you may be able to do if you collect army a little bit more, but that's not our way of doing things, as you can imagine. So, well, our primary tool to fight him is our worms, good old worms. As you know, they have this beautiful ability. Next to this hero there is also a shipyard, and we can get on a boat there. There are a couple of objectives behind it, but for the most part the biggest objective there is a black keymaster tent. That's our hero. He has two spells. He has Resurrection and Clone. I actually tried fighting him like week 4 maybe, when Henrietta was here with like small army, when she reached the town not far from here. And well, she didn't have worms, that was kind of a big problem, but also her army wasn't really spectacular. So he has 18 defense, that's not little, okay, that makes killing his units quite a bit tougher. So I'm getting ready here. I need worms to take the turn after everyone waited and made a turn, so that they could actually eat the corpse, in this case of the Nyxes. And now I'm thinking, where should I pull my... So I need to make sure that they do not come towards my lizard warriors. Okay, now they're pretty far away. Now I can kite them safely with just dragonflies, and I can pull warps back for rest, and after they're done we can set up the next stack. So generally he waits until we kill enough of his units in a stack before he resurrects. So that's why I kind of chipped at them a little bit before I commit. For example, if I shoot again, I mean, over damage one of the stacks, he might cast a resurrect. So I guess next stack should be getting killed now. And I can kill the final stack next turn right away. Okay, now this enemy has a few quests for his head. So one of the most notable quests is in the top right corner in the underground, and looks like exactly where Wynona is gonna be heading right now. Thanks to a town portal, so that's where it is. And there is a resurrection scroll for Wynona, and why not we take it? I'll take some gnolls for just to take some fire off other units. Basically grabbed some cannon fodder in form of centaurs, elves, gnolls. Another guess. I mean, these blue heroes actually test my hospitality. In general, these enemy heroes are a bit annoying. Occasionally require some attention. For example, because of this hero, I was not able to get to the Black Keymaster tent in this go, so I will have to send Wynona later the same way. But it's also guarded by a hero, so actually I'm not sure if I would be able to even beat this hero with Henrietta. I don't remember this hero very well. Like, actually don't remember anything. Oh, I will remember, I think, when I see this hero. These dragons did their service and blocked my most dangerous shooters. Actually, I keep elves there. This way dragons very kindly put themselves into a perfect position for a beam attack. Thank you very much, guys. Lost 18 dragonflies, but in general dragonflies are, I feel like they make a terrible power stack. And by terrible I do not mean terrific. Terrible is terrible. So they are very weak for tier 3. But they're great utility wise. Their speed is basically unmatched. I mean, like actually, like their speed is higher than anything on levels 1 through 5 and even 6 if you don't count Ifrits who share the same speed. I mean, that's crazy. And also they have a very nice utility in this spell, which you may have seen before, but not in this map, but you actually will see even on this map. I actually remember, yeah, the last boss, or maybe it wasn't the last fight, but the way I beat the big bad lizard, Paktal, the hero with the fairy dragons and other crazy stuff. I actually used this property of dragonflies very actively. It made the whole fight, well, I wouldn't say easy, but it made this fight actually winnable for me. And now we are gonna get another fight. Henrietta will go through this Garrison. And this Garrison is quite hard to go through. It has 21 rust dragons, it has like, I think 2 stacks of 55 hydras. And I bring Gorgons here specifically to fight, you guessed it, the dragons. Now, as it is often the case with dragons, we'll have to abuse fake breath. That's probably a given at this point. So I found an interesting setup like this that forces a fake breath, and now I can basically gain up on them. Also had to try a few different variations to have more dragons die to death stare. As you can see, I don't have enough units to quickly dispatch of the dragons, but fortunately I still was able to deal with them relatively fast. And now basically I want to get away from here. So now the best part about Hydras is that they like multi-hits. So they will, for the most part, as you can see, this Hydra for some reason went towards Gorgons and made me kind of worried. Fortunately, it changed its mind. So I don't want to put Gorgons next to lizards because it will make them a more desirable target than Quattles and Wyverns, and I keep Wyverns and Quattles closer to each other. This way Hydras see this juicy multi-hit and can't resist the urge. At some point, when stack becomes smaller, they could actually find a different target more appealing, because it thinks that Wyverns and Quattles are too strong. Maybe because of that, maybe just because they're weird, I don't know. Because in general, I think that no retaliation units are kind of more dismissive of target unit strength. Had to spend some mana on a haste, and again they're making me worried. I don't know, maybe I should keep Gorgons in the bottom right corner, honestly. They have some weird tendency to go towards them, which is weird, right? Normally you would expect, if it was a human player, obviously. Human player would probably keep its Hydras as far away from Gorgons as possible. Okay, now that when we deal with one, it's even a bit easier. I think, I mean, it's the same, but now I can actually make it even better for hydras. Now I give them a 3, like what, it's 3 triple attack. Like the best offer they can get. All they need to do is just reach this specific spot on the battlefield, and that's it. Alright. There we go. Wasn't that bad. It was actually not bad. Now, thanks to it, I get access to another Quattle stack and, most importantly, to a waterwalk. And this place I actually later, well, I didn't panic, but had a kind of a, wasn't particularly happy. I'll probably, it's gonna be a part 3, but where Genova disembarked, it's actually the only place where you can disembark to this place, to this location, and there is a town gate that I will use with Genova, and there is no way to scuttle this boat later. And this quest actually gives you a sea captain's hat, the artifact that you need to assemble an admiral's hat, and this hat is actually transferred to the next level, and this hat is what gives you the scuttled boat in the first place, so that's some good irony there. But I actually found a way out of this mess, but not before I asked in a couple of places. Found a way to use a summon boat to retrieve this boat. So, okay, another blue fella asking for attention, and I'll have to give him this attention, and Henrietta very narrowly gets everything there. Yeah, and as you can see, I left this place and boat is there. It's gonna be a great surprise for future me in about a month. Some pretty good reinforcements in Quattles, like 15 more in just one go. That's nice. A great chest piece. Town portal. Weird. Why did Kir have a town portal? Probably passed it by accident from Henrietta. If it is, it was a mistake, obviously. No, okay. Maybe I traded items, I didn't pay attention. Maybe, yeah, probably I swapped the items and yeah, so Wynona had the town portal scroll that after swap was in Tyr's inventory. And what is this pathetic army, buddy? Okay, extracting some cool experience from being a tryhard. Fortunately, wyverns were able to kill lizards. It wasn't guaranteed actually. So got lucky with damage. And it was good enough. Okay, so Wynona will do some chores, let's say. So now I have a waterwalk scroll, and I don't have to embark and disembark constantly to visit small islands around, and that's what Wynona will do. I want to extract a couple of mages and maybe something else there, I don't quite remember. You need mages for a couple of quests, like one mage for each, so but I need to upgrade them as well. And then there is this sprites, also, well, fairies. And I need sprites actually, not fairies. Well, I guess I might send her here now. To finally get access to Black Tent. Also, I just remembered there is a pair of boots of speed that I actually, I don't know about taking it early. Well, it's guarded by like a relatively small group of hydras, like I don't know, 28. Wynona passed by this place in the end of week 2, so she wouldn't be able to take it with 14 worms, unfortunately. And this place is a little bit too far, so I kind of did not find an opportunity to get to these boots. Maybe I should have. I don't know, that's kind of many days actually. Maybe Henrietta could have taken it with a small army when she was clearing like minor things. You remember when I sent her to get a hive next to her hometown, to get a lizard warrior, a lizard man dwelling, like small things. We had like about 100 lizards. I don't know. Sounds like she might have trouble dealing with 28 hydras. But maybe not, I don't know. What I can say, these boots would be quite nice, for sure. So I'm sending Caitlyn to upgrade these mages. Probably what I should have done is I should have disembarked her and take the fairy lantern and wait for day 1 there. This way she would be able to hire 40 pixies and then upgrade them along with mages. That would make more sense, because I will be sending her with 20 right now and it makes no sense. There is one quest for them and it asks for 40. So it was kind of a wasted effort. Like, she could have waited for a few days there. It wouldn't make any difference. And Wynona is heading for a black Keymaster tent, as I said. So I will be setting up the chain here. Interesting. How does Lorelei will be reaching Genoa? Or okay, she will have green boots, of course. Because why? Because green boots are always with the army, right? That's a small rule that I followed here, and it worked pretty well. Small anti-magic garrison with a few shooters. Basically, I want to make sure that these dragonflies block the way to my big dragonfly stack, and that's basically it. I was pretty confident that they would not be hitting big ones, but they are very happy to hit a big dragonfly stack, so okay, and here is an enchanter whatever thing, dwelling. Also need one enchanter for a quest. This quest is quite, well, a bit, maybe not far, but like it's still some time before I can actually hand it in, and frankly, yeah, I should have played the fairy pixie part better. Shouldn't have moved out with 20. Should have waited. And Henrietta is back fast enough. Okay, I'll leave her waterwalk. Don't remember what is my intent there. Might be a mistake also. I may have had something in mind, but decided that she doesn't really need it. A bit sloppy execution here. Actually, should have waited on turn 2 and could have finished this fight in like, I don't know, 10 rounds. Now I basically have to just wait until I get morale, or I could maybe just risk hitting and getting hit twice. Or maybe 20 do not kill. Okay, finally. Another enemy. Didn't pay attention to it. Split off dragonflies because there is a whirlpool, so I need some expendable units, and dragonflies happen to be my most expendable. Which is sad, but as I said, they're mostly useful for their utility. Okay, I'm trying to bait this hero, so that I don't have to run all over the place after him. But then maybe I will just come with Henrietta and kill this hero. That's also an option. I don't quite remember what did I have in plans for Henrietta. Yeah, she actually Oh man, that's a long preparation for this enemy. I actually don't know how did I even survive this fight, and I mean this preparation was very tense. Oh, maybe I will go after the boots now. Yeah. Okay, actually. Nice use for Henrietta. And again, I mean, come on. Just can't you take a break maybe for like a couple of turns? That would be good, thank you very much. I need a very specific place for her. I don't care about any of those. Not much success so far. Okay, but if only she exited from a different tile. So back into the whirlpool. Man, this is funny. Okay, this one should be good. There we go. This shrine has anti-magic, so that's a very good one. Maybe I could actually find even a better place, but I think it's wise not to stretch my luck there. I only have 30 dragonflies left. So unfortunately I don't think I have time to get to the right side with Wynona. And you might ask why not, but it's because of this pink evil hero. And I really want to go there. Nixis, guard this orb. You need these orbs to get access to some of the best spells here, and obviously there is also a portal next to which a bunch of quattles are waiting. Portal is irrelevant, obviously, but quattles are quite nice. Yeah, that's the place I mentioned, and it's a nice pair of boots of speed. These guys will soon leave no empty space to leave your ship at, and very sad. I mean, I also might have to land there one day. Very, very disappointing of them to be so selfish and to take all those parking slots for themselves. I mean, and also they come and leave this ship there and never come back, basically abandon it. What a jerk move. Okay, I remember this poor enemy. He has this nice anti-magic, which is obviously very, very scary, because maybe it's not scary actually, because we have dragonflies. She also has a few spells, Counter Strike, and I think maybe that's it. Anti-magic and Counter Strike. Oh, okay, she has also a Disrupting Ray. That's just interesting. Basically, the idea is very simple. Split them apart and take out one by one. I actually did not expect that this many will survive. And what I even less expected is that they will hit dragonflies, but I should have expected it because it's AI. Now there is a interesting bug that I think it's a bug. Maybe I'm just being stupid. Well, maybe it's not a bug, to be fair. But I think, so why did I cast Bless before, Dispel before that? It's primarily to get rid of the Counter-Strike. Because, as you may well know, if you want to remove a retaliation with one stack, Counter-Strike is not very helpful to you. So that was my primary motivation for that. And as you noticed, I also brought here dragonflies who happen to be dispelling. So one would expect that when a dragonfly hits and dispels the Counter-Strike, that the unit will retaliate and will not have retaliations left. But it's not true, actually. And even more so, I think Counter-Strike may even work longer than that, actually. At least noticed some weird second retaliation in a fight later on. Kinda weird. Maybe you should pay attention. Kinda looks like Counter-Strike may be in effect for like one turn after it is removed, or maybe if it's removed with a dispel, then for this turn, and if it is removed due to duration running out, then for the next turn, maybe, I don't know. Kind of actually looks like it might be the case based on a couple of interactions on this map I've had. I think I sent Dermith to pick up fire elementals. For the quest, I need to upgrade 7 of them. Finally, time to deal with this fella. I think this fight is gonna be lost in this part. So I think I'll close the commentary here. The fight should be pretty easy. I don't think it needs to be said, talked about, really. As usual, thank you for watching. If you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. There will be a third and final part of this map playthrough. Please tune in to watch it. There will be at least a couple of interesting fights. Not as interesting as the fight against Bron, in my opinion, and for my playthrough specifically, obviously. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.